So who wants to know the real financials of a multi-six-figure Etsy shop? Today, I am pulling back the curtains and showing you my actual 1099 from Etsy for 2022. And I'm going to break down all the different expense categories so you can really understand what the profit looks like, what the costs look like in running a multi-six-figure shop. So this is not a video to brag at all, but I think a lot of people would find this kind of information really, really interesting. If you like videos like this, please subscribe to the channel because every week I put out new videos that are designed to give you actionable, very tactical, and profitable action steps to take in your business. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you exactly how we managed to run this business logistically and what the future for our Etsy shop is. So on Etsy, I've done about $1.5 million in revenue, and that's over $1 million in profit. Last year, I did about $370,000 on Etsy. And Amazon and Shopify are other revenue streams that are not considered in this video. For the purpose of today's video, we are just going to focus on this $370,000 from Etsy. So how much profit was that? Where did the money go? What were expenses like? What was cash flow like? And how do I pay my taxes? I'm serious. I'm probably going to be way oversharing here, but let's dive in. So my Etsy revenue has been between $360,000 and $400,000 over the last 3 to 4 years. This is a very comfortable level for us to run this business at while still running the business out of our home. While we could have scaled this beyond that $360,000 to $400,000 level, we intentionally chose not to because that would require us to take the business out of our home, and that really was the main priority for us in starting this business. So instead of scaling our revenue over the past 3 to 4 years, we really focused on scaling our profit and our margin. So think about this. Would you rather do $2.7 million in revenue at a 10% margin, or would you rather do $370,000 at a 75% margin? So personally, since Etsy is actually kind of a small piece of our total income each month, we have a few other businesses that are doing much higher volume. We actually prefer to keep Etsy at this level, and this way it's a much more manageable, maybe less chaotic, and higher margin business for us. Personally, I would rather accept the chaos in other businesses and other areas. Okay, so out of that $370,000, what actually happened and how do I track everything? Well, number one, you should know that we are an LLC taxed as an S Corp. We do have some semi-advanced tax strategies that we implement, but everything is very conservative. We don't really want to play in that gray area. So Etsy is just one revenue stream for that LLC. And then we also have Amazon and Shopify. So because it's all the same product, the costs are really spread among them. So today I'm going to break down the total costs, all the different expense categories, so that you can see where the money is going. So cost of goods sold, $73,980. And this was across 21 main suppliers and manufacturers. So we do work directly with factories as well as regular normal retailers like Home Depot, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, Amazon. And there were 367 total transactions last year. So that cost of goods sold, that is the total cost of goods sold for all three channels. I do not separate them out between Etsy, Amazon, and Shopify because it's all the same product. Now in total, our shipping costs were $46,801. So we mainly use USPS, UPS, and FedEx, and we get our materials from Amazon, eBay, and Staples. So specifically, the Etsy shipping fees, not counting shipping supplies, were $42,438. Okay, now let's talk about Etsy fees. So we have offsite ads turned on. We're forced to because of the volume that we're at. Our total Etsy fees were actually only 11.6%, which comes out to $42,893. Really not bad considering all the valuable traffic they're sending our way. And that actually includes the ad money that I accidentally spent last summer. I think it was like $300 to $500. All right, now business insurance was $2,056, and that is insurance for the total LLC. Now legal fees, we paid $475 for tax prep and $324 for payroll. And this is just the fee to roll by ADP, which we use to run our payroll through. And that's for 3 people. Our office supplies and office expenses were $4,900, and our travel was $3,725. Now this is really an interesting one. You might think, Etsy, travel, like why are you traveling for Etsy? These are all about buying trips and sourcing trips. Whenever we travel, we always try to somehow turn it into a buying trip or a sourcing trip. You need to hit that 50% threshold where at least half of those days are for business, but your travel days to and from count towards that 50%. So when we're traveling, we will source products, we'll buy some inventory while we're there. We'll do some photo shoots, things like that. All right, the next category is bank charges, and that was $550. Our license and fees, which totaled $3,638. And lastly, our equipment was $364. So our total costs and expenses totaled about $179,382. Those are the expenses to run Etsy, Amazon, and Shopify channels. In total, I always look at a blended margin between these three channels. The blended margin across these three channels was just over 70%. Now, it didn't start that way. It used to be like 45 to 50%. And as we have grown, we've pulled different levers while we're scaling to drive that margin up. So how do we logistically manage all this? Well, you want to make sure you are paying your quarterly estimates for your taxes. And how do we know what to pay? Well, we base this off of the sales plan that I build at the beginning of every year. My whole background is corporate e-commerce, right? I worked for Zappos and Zulily, so I did a lot of buying, planning, pricing strategy, things like that. So my background is really in building sales plans. And in my program, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy Blueprint, I actually give you my exact sales plan and I teach you how to build your own using the exact plan that I use. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, definitely reach out. It is part of what I teach you in my program. Now, how do I do the P&L? Okay, I kind of do that at the end of the year. For me, I really cannot be bothered with so much busy work, and our cash flow is so high in this business that cash flow is really not a concern, something that I have to keep on top of every month. And our margin is very steady and very predictable, and we're constantly inching it up bit by bit. So what are our plans for Etsy? Some of you out there have gathered that Etsy is really no longer a significant portion of our income. So why do we keep doing it? I mean, at this point, this Etsy revenue for a year is something that we do in like a month with our other businesses. So why would we keep doing Etsy? Why would it even make sense for us to do this? Well, I truly believe that in order to be able to teach people Etsy strategy, I need to have a playground. I need to be keeping up with Etsy with all the changes in order to be coming up with new effective strategies for my students. So I would much rather create new strategies by using my own shop as the playground versus doing trial and error with other people's businesses. It's like I'd much rather gamble with my own money than someone else's, and I don't gamble. So it's really important for me to keep up with all the changes on Etsy. Long story short, I'll always have my shop. But what is next for us? Well, we are currently looking at some things like maybe selling off certain product lines in our shop. Maybe to simplify things a bit more, we could sell off different product lines. While you can't legally sell a shop, you could sell out different product lines. And that is something that we are continuing to talk about, my husband and I, on an ongoing basis. That might be something on the horizon for us. We don't know yet. But in short, we'll always have the shop so that we can always be presenting new effective strategies for our students, for you guys here on YouTube. And if you like this video and you'd like more, real-time Etsy strategies, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're ever ready for some one-on-one help, reach out to me on Instagram at Dylan Jarris, or email me team@dylanjarris.com, and I'd be happy to get you the link to enroll in my program, Multi-Six-Figure Etsy Blueprint.